We're talking season 1, episode 8 on the Frequency After Show tonight. Stay tuned.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
This is a nice throwback. What? You know what I was thinking? You see, we got a little Justin Timberlake, Raimi's kissing a little Lance Bass.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
So it's like a big boy band.
Started using technology. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm feeling that song.
Man, I wish I had rhythm like you. Right?
It's a gift. Not everybody has.
You want to know why I was laughing?
Why?
I just got to tell you. Did you see what's the movie with Steve Martin and with Hilary Duff with all those kids?
Cheaper by the Dozen.
Cheaper by the Dozen 2.
Yeah.
You remind me of the little kid on there with that hat.
Oh,
she's such.
She's a friend of AfterBuzz. She comes in here a lot. The one that's a really good dancer.
Yeah, and she's like young. She was kind of tomboy.
Yeah.
And she was like setting things up and creating trouble.
But she does come here a lot.
That's just like you.
Anyway, what's going on, AfterBuzzers? Welcome to the Frequency After Show. Tonight we're talking episode 8 called Interference. I'm your host, Olivia Gabaree. Follow me on Instagram, Twitter, _O_G.
And you should know by now, but if you don't, it's your man Chaos J, KAAOSJ. And real quick, I'm sorry, you look real swaggalicious.
So
I'm swaggalicious.
I don't know anything about the movie, anything about any of that. I just know you look mad swaggalicious.
Hey.
So there you go.
That's a word we can use too?
Swaggalicious?
Yeah, or did you just make that up?
We're teaching you so many words.
Right, we're just dropping nuggets on you, bro. I just need you to take notes, Chris.
I feel like I'm going to school. I feel like it's like a reversal of roles. Like you're the ones with the real knowledge, and I've got to learn.
It's true.
Well, you know what?
It's true.
Everybody out there needs to learn who you are and how they can find you, bro.
I'm Chris Howard. Reach out to me at Chris Howard Live on Twitter. That was interference. Chris Howard Live on Twitter and Instagram. And I mean, really, you guys have so many words that like swaggalicious, petty pass, and what was the other one we said? That's so basic.
Oh, Petty Roosevelt.
Petty Roosevelt, and there was another one that was really good too. But yeah, but
So,
you are swaggalicious tonight.
Thank you.
Yeah, yes.
I have to say, I'm not in any position to be giving out a petty pass tonight.
You're not feeling it.
Did you think anybody in this episode deserved it?
No, not at all.
Not
and
really.
I've got a few things I want to pick at too. So yeah, no. Raimi doesn't get one. Frank, Jules, nobody's getting a pass today.
Yeah, I almost wanted to give Frank a pass because I felt kind of bad about the Julian Coach Ted situation.
Oh, right. Well, I didn't think he was being petty though. I mean, I thought
but I would give it to him for future use. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, I got you.
Save it for later.
If you don't know what they're
day.
talking about, you're not alone.
Basically, we're saying that we would give Frank, normally we'll give out a petty pass. For those of you that don't know, that's a pass for it basically is like a get out of the jail free card, but in this case it just means
for being petty.
You can be petty. And it's okay.
And we won't
because you
judge
got a
you.
pass. And we're not going to judge you. We've given out some petty passes before, or she rather has given out some petty passes before. But yeah, she's not feeling it tonight. And you know what? I'm not either.
Yeah, I mean, we have so many love triangles going on, but they're just...
It was kind of weird. You know what? For me, the episode was just rushed. And I think that, like we were saying, I wonder if they're out of episodes that they're going to do and they're going to try to cram it all in.
I really hope not. I'm going to need that full season on deck.
I'm not sure if you guys know, but we realized Google, we read a couple articles and Google's telling us that there's it's only showing us 9 episodes and this being the 8th one. So it's we have a lot of things to tie up before this ends.
So by all means, if any of you guys know out there, let us know in the comments. Hit us up on Twitter, Instagram, or whatever. If you guys have some intel about whether or not the show's going to get more than 9 episodes for this first season or not.
Yeah, we need to know because I was just searching and I can't find anything. I was putting in.
We should start a movement because I have to know who the Nightingale Killer is before this is over.
I'm gonna need all loose ends to be wrapped up, and it cannot be done in one episode.
And if they're doing it for the next episode, we want a recount.
A recount?
Yeah, you didn't see. I saw what you did.
You're all over it.
I saw what you
Thanks,
did.
brother.
You teach me, I teach you.
There we go.
Okay, anyways.
It's a teach fest.
So, like I was saying, I would potentially give Frank a pass because not only is his wife like hooking up with his daughter's coach, but his coworker is the one that told him because he saw, because he was detail out front of the house.
Security
and so he
detail,
saw
protection
Coach
detail.
Ted roll up, him and Julie get a kiss in, and Raimi saw it.
Yeah, that was a bad look. You know, I know that I have been I've been team hate on Jules. I'm still team hate on Jules. However, now, I mean, if she's gonna move on, she's gonna move on. That's all good and well. But until you have something solid and it's established with whoever it is you're gonna date, like don't bring that all around your daughter. And you know, like, granted, I'm not saying she's gonna be parading a bunch of guys in front of Raimi, but at the same time, like, it's still a sensitive issue right now. It's still kind of fresh. That wound's still fresh. It's still open. It hasn't scabbed yet. Don't be bringing other dudes around, getting your brains coached out, smelling with coach stank all around your daughter. Like, I'm gonna need you to not do that. And I'm gonna also need you to be respectful of Frank. At the end of the day, y'all haven't got a divorce yet, so
Coach
I'm gonna need you to chill that out. No, coach stank. His essence. His essence.
You're a really conscientious guy.
I'm just saying, man. I'm just saying, and like I said, there's no divorce paperwork on file, so be a little bit more discreet.
Yeah, I mean, granted, Frank did have his little Marcel. Is her name Marcel?
Marcella.
Marcella or Marcel.
What do you call that? Side?
Marcel.
Side piece. Or jump off.
Or his
Or
side
jump off.
chick.
Yeah, you guys said jump off.
Well, whatever it is, she exists, but I'm mad that we're not like exploring her further,
Yeah, we're not
because
knowing
I
anything.
need to know, was this a job thing, or was this a personal thing? Like, what was
How
this?
far did
But
it
here's the thing though. They're not gonna let us know what happens with her for the simple fact that she had to leave.
I guess, but maybe she left for a reason, you know?
Well, she had to leave because she otherwise. Remember, she was trying to get away.
Yeah.
And and that's what that whole money was for. And then the heat came down. Moreno did his thing. He had his goons beat her up. So she probably just fled. Like after crashing at his place for a day or two. Yeah, she probably fled. So we probably will not see her again.
And especially if there's only one more episode, there's no way we'll see her again.
Yeah.
Right. But I'm gonna be hopeful.
Yeah.
There's gonna be more episodes.
Let us know. Let us know. Let us know. That's let it snow. Let it snow.
That's always
what
Yeah,
you
that's a
did
little
there.
Christmassy.
So we're not introduced to new characters, but we're furthering a new lead in this episode. So we're following Larissa. She was a nurse at the camp, and she was a victim of the Nightingale.
Apparently the first one.
The first victim of the Nightingale killer. And we're exploring this lead in the present and in the past. So as Raimi is taking these calls and these interviews, whatever, Frank is doing his work on the past end as well. But in the past, they don't know that she's dead, and they don't know that she's a victim of the Nightingale yet. Of course, Frank has this knowledge, but he can't disclose.
You know what's
that
really
to the
weird
family.
about this, though, is that, like we had said before, like it seems like they're trying to tie up a lot of stuff too quick, and it may just be because it's hopefully it's not the end, but I'm thinking now that the Nightingale ties them up with what? Was it prayer beads or something, or prayer? Was it rosary or was it
rosary beads?
So now there's a religious connection. There's a connection to be made.
It's kind of weird.
Yeah.
I didn't even think
I
of
just
that
thought of
this
it
whole
just
entire time.
a second. Yeah.
Yeah. So this camp is it for troubled people?
Troubled kids. It's almost like going to
troubled
juvie with Jesus.
I guess. Yeah. So it's in the middle of the woods.
That's not bad.
And they're attending mass, and it's just like a religious affiliated camp. And Larissa just happens to be the nurse at this camp. But so let's just backtrack a little. So Frank is.
But see, there's the other thing. The prayer things or the prayer beads, and then you've also got the fact that she's a nurse, so that starts the pattern of nurses, and so if they tie it up that way, it's going to have nothing to do with the blood that we thought perhaps. It's going to have nothing to do with Stan Moreno. It's going to have nothing to do with all these other things. It's going to have to do with this church
I'm
that we found out
hoping
about
that
the last
this
episode.
just blows my mind. Whatever it is, and like whatever the conclusion is, I really hope that I'm like, whoa.
Right, like it's a solid twist, and it's not something that you.
Can I make an early
predict.
prediction?
By all means.
Go for it.
What if the reason, because remember we said that in the timeline that started with Frank where his wife is killed, that he seemed to be the one determinant. Like in one timeline, Frank dies, and the Nightingale doesn't continue.
Yeah.
In this timeline, Frank's alive, and the Nightingale continues.
Yeah.
What if Stan Moreno helps this guy to stay out killing people in order to specifically kill Frank's wife? And that's what, and then they're able to get Megan in this hospital with the help of Stan Moreno. And so Stan Moreno takes her out by using the Nightingale. And so he gets to continue his shit.
Okay, I guess. Yeah, it's definitely a possibility because this Stan Moreno stuff it's just such a separate.
It is, unless there's only one more episode. Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah, so I'm wondering, but you know what I'm thinking now? So this camp, Abigail's Angels, are is what they're calling it, or the kids that are attending it are being called that. We found out last episode when we searched the camp, we noticed that the Nightingale, he was he was using religion or ancient something or other.
Right, he was using religion
to perform these murders.
He was using religion, ancient rituals, and human sacrifices to justify abducting and killing these women as an attempt
he was purifying them.
As an attempt to purify them and cleanse them of their sins, and he was helping them out.
And I'm seeing now I'm drawing similarities here because so now we know that he's he believes in religion, some type of religion, and he's trying to cleanse these girls and purify them. And isn't it kind of ironic that the people that are attending this camp, they're troubled and they're trying to get better and be saved. So I have
the nurse has nude pictures.
What?
Right. Well, you saw that, right?
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, but
here's the way you just toss that in, you're like
the nurse got news, man. She got news.
Shit, I gotta watch this.
A nurse got nudes.
No, but it's true because there's got to be some judgment on that, right?
Yeah.
By the Nightingale, if
yeah, I mean.
And he could have been involved with it, and then
exactly.
He'd be so.
And this was brought. The nudes are clearly playing a part in the storyline if they were brought up more than one time.
Right.
And the pages from the journal are missing. What if she tore the pages out because it had to do with her messing around, monkeying around with the camp counselor? So
Plot twist.
Yeah, and she's monkeying around with him, and she tears the journal pages out, and he gets all obsessed about this fact that he was taking nude photos with her and stuff, gets weirded out, and then he purifies them by killing them.
I mean, it could be whatever it is. So Frank finds Larissa's journal or diary in her room, and there are certain pages missing. However, the pages that are still in there are speaking about how her ex-boyfriend abused her and wasn't very nice to her and beat her. And if you're leaving things that are that harsh in your journal,
what are you tearing out?
Yeah, what is worthy of being torn out?
Right, exactly.
And you know what I'm thinking? So her boyfriend abused her because he found naked photos.
Right.
And Frank found those naked photos in her diary. So I'm wondering, did the boyfriend tear them out because they said it, that was his justification of why he did what he did?
And then he thought that if they found them, that they'd think that he killed her because...
Or she knew he was reading her diary and she ripped it out intentionally. I'm not sure.
Or the Nightingale somehow found it and ripped it out.
Or maybe yeah.
I mean, those pages, I feel like they're key to this.
Yeah, no, there's definitely something behind the disappearance of those pages. The question is, what is it?
Exactly. And so we're flashing back to when Larsa was still alive and she was in camp and she was attending this mass, and a naked girl who was bleeding from her wrists and her arms just appeared out of the woods. And we find out that this girl's name is Megan, and Megan also she had a mug or something that she gave. What
Larissa
was it?
had a mug with Megan's name on it. that said Megan on it. But what's weird is that Megan, remember they said she wasn't on the list of campers. So who knows? Maybe she was the nurse before Larissa.
And she disappeared though, and it's like, why would you only met this girl once? Well, from what it seems like, she only met her once. So what is the significance of...
Why would she have this Megan mug?
Yeah, it's not like they were best friends or something. I mean, maybe later on she'll like resurface, but for now she just seems like a very temporary person in Larissa's life.
You know what? Even though it seems uncomfortable for us, them trying to jam everything in this episode, in real life, it might very well be the case that when the case comes together, the case comes together. You know, just that everything starts popping fast.
I mean, it's almost like you only need like, it could just be that golden...
That one piece that it's like, okay, then you start...
And then it's a domino effect that stuff just starts popping off. So she tries to help Megan and takes her to the nurse's office and tries to clean her up, and then Megan just straight up disappears. But I had a feeling that the chick that was going crazy that we saw in the beginning of the episode, well, she wasn't going crazy, but she was watching Raimi on television, and she was watching Raimi speak about the Nightingale Killer and like asking people to call in tips, and it seems like that really targeted something for her just by like the way she was acting and the look on her face.
And what was she saying before? She was saying, "Don't kill us all." Is that what she had said?
I'm not sure. I don't remember.
I don't know.
I'm not the one to ask.
But I mean, she's clearly involved somehow, and it's crazy because Frank's looking for Megan in the past, Raimi's looking for Megan in the future, and Megan's just watching like all of this pop off.
Right.
And being kept in this insane asylum, right?
Right, but it almost seems like she put herself in there because he said, you know, you keep on coming back to us, but we can't help you unless you want to help yourself.
You keep on coming back to us.
But
Well,
see,
that's not
here's the
word
thing.
for word what he said, but pretty much.
But that's the thing is like, did she go there because she at one point thought that was the only place she was safe?
Yeah.
Could be like protective custody where she's being...
But now she doesn't even feel safe there, so...
And that's a really good point because she probably did see that as her safe place because obviously they have an eye on her all of the time. But when... Well, we're introduced to this guy that is in charge of Abigail's Angels. We met him in the beginning of the episode when he met with Raimi about the Nightingale Killer and about the camp. And then we're later introduced to him at the, what do you call those? I'm not going to call it like a crazy house. Like, what is it? It's an asylum?
Or a psychiatric hospital.
There you go.
There you go. Okay, so we met him at the psychiatric hospital, and Megan's... Like, she seemed to be feeling threatened by him. Like, she felt very uncomfortable.
You could tell she was very uncomfortable when he sat next to her and
he put his
talking.
hands on her leg.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know you like that. The whole thigh-hand connection is only reserved for special people. Just saying.
Yeah. I agree. Like,
but
that's
you kind of get the sense that, I mean, isn't the show laying out that this is the dude?
I don't know. But you know something? They're laying it out too well.
Right. And I don't know if I would say he's the dude, but right now he could be. But I just feel like they're just saying, hey, like, this is somebody we need to keep an eye on. This is a person of interest.
Now, do you think it's possible that the Nightingale Killer is a Nightingale Killer, but Stan Moreno kills Jules...
Yo, you're all about this Stan Moreno.
Well, because
you're trying to make Stan Moreno happen.
Well, they got to tie it together somehow. What are they just gonna let him go?
I know.
But it's like, but maybe Stan Moreno kills Jules in the likeness of the Nightingale Killer.
Oh, and just tried to like play it off.
Play it off as one of those murders.
I mean, it could be, but
yeah. You don't
this
think
is
so?
when I'm gonna call you Stretch Armstrong because I think you're reaching, bro.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I only see I see 9 episodes on here.
Right? No, I mean I know what you're saying. I don't know if that's Stan Moreno's MO though.
Yeah, but he's just gonna be a dirty cop.
I mean,
and they're
he
gonna
has
leave it
to
like
be
that.
tied somehow.
They gotta tie him up.
He's a dirty cop, but in like the drug world and things like that.
In the drug game.
And this seems like such like a separate. I don't know. I'm not really seeing how they could be tied together yet at this point.
Right.
But it may be that the next episode that's something, that just goes off and all of a sudden everything makes sense.
Right.
And that's what I'm waiting for. Like, I really hope it just blows my mind. But,
I hope you're wearing that hat when it does, because then it'll keep all the brains in.
True. So maybe I'll wear this one next week. Okay, so where are we at now? So Larissa is obviously dead, and Megan definitely knows something because she's making an effort to call Raimi and call the police, and like she has like some type of tip.
Right, because you see that form on the desk where she had called but then got disconnected. And I don't know.
Do you think that the two women being naked, the naked photos and Megan being naked, is there a connection between those two somehow?
I don't know.
Yeah.
But almost like to be naked in the woods and bleeding, it's like maybe she escaped from something.
Makes sense.
Right?
You know? And it's clearly like something is tormenting her. Like she's very damaged. And we just don't know why. But of course, if she has a tip that she's calling in, she knows something. And it seems like this Abigail's Angels guy knows that she knows something. So he's feeding into the fact that she's crazy, right? Because now, like you said, he's in cahoots with the doctor. And they're agreeing that,
She should stay there.
That she needs extra care because she's extra crazy.
We don't need you to get out and tell the police.
Exactly.
Because the jig is up. And that's something else I thought real quick. Hold on. Since we're throwing out random theories. Oh, I'm reaching. I'm a reach too. And I was kind of thinking like, what if random guy and doctor are in cahoots? And what if they're a tag team? Like, what if they're both the Nightingale? What if the Nightingale's more than one?
Well, that's what I'm thinking. And this guy that works for the camp and works for the church, at first I was thinking he's too young to be the Nightingale killer, right? Because he almost seems like close in age with Megan and whatever, maybe a little bit older. But he made a point to say that he works for the original family or like the original people that ran the camp. So he has direct connections to the camp at that time in the past.
So there was original people that ran the camp. He has direct connections, huh?
So he's definitely going to play a part in this because we saw the preview for the next episode and they're
wanting to kill him.
They're questioning him.
There's no other way.
Right, there is no other way. You got to dig it out at the roots.
But I wonder how they come across. Wait a second. Why are we not hearing from the guy in jail that can
I think he's gone.
How do you do that? This is not making sense.
We're not going to hear from him again.
There's so many people that are just like being cut off.
Right.
Why?
Like they come in and they have all this vital information, but it's like, before I tell you, stay tuned for next week's episode. It's like,
that guy was a major key. Like I feel like he had the secrets to the world.
So it was a major key alert?
Major key alert, right? And now he's gone, and now Megan holds the key, and like now she's in the crazy house, and
but
we
at
can't
the
hear
same
from
time,
her.
remember Raimi was playing really weird when it came to dealing with him, and if she didn't co-sign on keeping him out of jail to talk to her and come and and have these interrogation sessions or talk sessions or whatever they were called, then they probably just like, okay,
I
you're
guess
you're batshit crazy. We don't we're not bringing you back out.
He played he was such a serious character. Now how are you gonna get rid of him?
Right, he was the only other person in their world that had figured out the whole time thing.
It seems like he figured it out, but it drove him insane in the process.
See, I don't know if I really feel like he was insane. Like everything he said was substantial and it was legitimate. Like he had a reason to kill his neighbor because he was killing his neighbor because his neighbor was a drunk and he knew that his neighbor was going to end up killing those kids.
But then he kills the guy in
drunk
is it a prison?
Accident.
Well, you know what I'm seeing now?
He killed him. He killed that guy, and then he said, like, even when I tried to do all these other things before I got to the point where I killed him,
but then he kills this other guy.
Worked. Like it,
for a reason, though. Because he said, once he killed him, he said, I have to cut it from the trunk. And maybe that was his only purpose. Maybe that was his only purpose within the show was to
cut the trunk.
Yeah, because now, as we see in the previews for the next episode, when Frank and Raimi are talking, and it makes it seem like they're talking about this camp guy, that she's like, well, the only way is that we kill him. And that's like cutting it from the trunk,
Right.
instead of just like swerving it and allowing another branch to grow.
Exactly.
So maybe that he served his purpose in that way.
I'm thinking they can tie it up by they kill him, the parents come back together, and she gets her family, and she gets the boyfriend, and the season's done.
Yeah, well, her present would become extremely different. To go from having no parents to both your parents. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But, I mean, you know, she'll just be sitting there and just... and then she'll just have all these new memories, and then that'll be that.
Wait, what happens when you get new memories?
Yeah.
I mean, that's what happens when I flash back sometime. I'm driving, I'm like, what happened, Kelly? I'm like,
what are you flashing back to?
I just had a flashback when this kid stole my G.I. Joe in the playground. Like, it just happens.
I guess so.
Those traumatic memories.
Hey, man. They're like aftershocks.
I mean, as different as the present is now than it was originally, like in the pilot episode, some things are still kind of coming together for her. For instance, Daniel, her boyfriend, her original boyfriend that her mother introduced her to, of course isn't her boyfriend anymore in the present because her mother didn't live long enough to introduce them. But he still finds a way into her life. But I get weird vibes from him.
So
she kind of put him back into her life because she didn't realize that he wasn't still her fiance, and then he followed, but then he was like, well, hold on, wait, she's not bad looking. And I don't know, there's something about her.
And I just blew it with the last girl.
There's something, I can't figure it out. Is it chemistry? Is it magnetism? I don't know. So then obviously he starts, kind of, popping up. I don't know. And
weird
then,
vibes, though.
like,
She's right.
I get it. Like, I kind of liked Kyle. I didn't think Kyle was a bad guy.
Yeah.
I kind of wanted to give Kyle a chance. He shows up, unexpected with pizza, and then he,
he's
sparks.
a stand-up guy,
right?
He chills with Gordo,
right? He chills with Gordo. They got a little bromance going on. They're playing video games.
What if those
Daniel
two end up
pops
together?
up. No, not at all. Gordo's not gay. And then Daniel pops up, and granted, it was a good move that she left because I was like, no, do not bring him in the house.
Yeah.
It was good that they left, and I guess I just kind of got comfortable with the idea that they might not be together in this timeline. So now the fact that they're getting back together, I'm like, like I said, I thought Kyle was a good dude, or Kyle, or whatever. And yeah, I don't have a problem with them getting back together. But, as with her mom, like, she still got Kyle stank on her. Yeah. I'm going to need her to wash that off.
Like
before
mother,
she just,
like daughter, I
right?
guess.
Like, I'm going to need her to, wash some of that hoishness and, purify herself. Before she gets with Daniel. But here's the thing. Here's what I was thinking. Like, okay, so... they're at his house.
Yeah.
After, they're talking, he came over and, and confessed, like, I can't get you off my brain, whatever. And, we find out that he'd been drinking. And he starts to get sick. They go to his house. They're sitting, they're having a moment. I did like that. They're connecting. And for him, it's all new, but for her, it's not. But for her, she's watching it as things are coming back full circle in terms of her relationship with Daniel. So I did appreciate that moment. And then furthermore, they're sitting there and they're talking, and then I don't know, she gets up to do something and finds the ring again. Mm-hmm. So I had to ask myself, I was thinking like, okay, so she finds the ring. Obviously, we know that in this current timeline, that ring was not for her because he was with someone else. Who we don't know if he's still with them or not. So I gotta ask, if this were you and your boo thing is no longer your boo thing, but somehow you guys reconnect and you find a ring that, in another timeline he was going to give to you, but obviously it's meant for someone else. If things rekindle between you two, and then he gives you that, and then he pops out that ring.
The same ring.
For somebody else.
But see, he only bought it for someone else in that alternate timeline, which is now the current timeline. But he only, but
I think
technically it was yours first anyway.
I mean, technically, I think I would be I would accept the proposal, but I would be a little bit salty because, like, you didn't buy this ring for me, you bought it for somebody else. At least, like, exchange it, like, get me a fresh one or something.
But what happens if people's lives are saved, and it turns out that he knew her all along, and the ring really was bought for her. She gets the ring in the end, gets the guy, family comes together. But he didn't
know her all along.
Well,
no, but it can change. The timeline can still change again.
The timeline can change, and it could make it. I mean, if that situation were to happen at this point where we're at in like the storyline, then I would need a fresh ring. You know what I'm saying?
I got you.
But
it's like new sheets, right?
Yeah. Yeah, like exactly. Yeah. But if like this whole entire thing could potentially change, and it could make it be that Daniel did know her all along, and he did buy the ring for her like from the beginning.
See, what leads me in that direction also is, what about the relationship with Satch? They cleaned up the Satch thing in this episode, because we thought that Satch was
that's right. He was on the verge of retiring, and we thought he was dirty.
We thought he was dirty, and then all of a sudden he says, I'm protecting you, which totally cleans up Satch.
But
that storyline can be
tied. No, I don't think it cleans it up.
If they've got one more episode, it does.
Though? Like, you're still co-signing low-key for Stan. Like,
Yeah, you saw it in that way, but I saw it as he's still covering Stan's ass.
Exactly.
And he can't, Frank's his boy, right? So he can't reveal that Stan has something over him.
I think they really meant to put Satch back in the good guy category.
If they closed it like that, that's weak. We gotta do a little bit better than that.
That's weak sauce.
It's weak. That's exactly what I was gonna say, but I was like,
how do you guys know they say
not.
Weak sauce?
We're just youthful.
Okay, all right.
You know, you gotta get hip on the lingo.
Oh, time out.
Well, because
weak sauce.
We're giving him such a hard time. Chris is a young sprite.
No, I know, but you know,
Chris is still a young whippersnapper. Okay, but
he's not familiar with the lingo.
He's not.
But when you see me naked in the forest, you'll see I'm a young guy.
What? But I'm sure many.
Actually, that wasn't so true.
It's a generational
we
difference.
Wouldn't know. Yeah. Yes, thank you for putting
weak
it
sauce.
that way.
I didn't know weak sauce, but
I'm sure you have an equivalent to weak sauce that we don't know.
Tripendicular. That was a word that was once said.
Oh, okay.
All right. You're right.
Tripendicular. That one.
That was rarely said, but it was once said.
I'll be sure to use that. I'm gonna bring it back for you, just for you.
Thank you.
Only on
every show. Every show.
Well, we got one left, so remind me next
I'm
time.
going to say that we don't. We have more than one left.
You gotta let us know. We need to know.
Let's attract more episodes to ourselves because I don't.
It's
one's
a great
not
show.
enough
It's a good
for
show.
me.
It's not.
I know. That's what I'm saying. There's so many directions that this could go in. If we really pull this off in one episode, I'm gonna be a little bit butthurt.
Right. Here's the thing. I'm just gonna say this real quick. It sucks that when that all networks don't have the foresight to be patient. When 30 Rock came on the air, it wasn't that popular.
Oh, really?
No. 30 Rock was a struggling show. Damn. But NBC, because, it was a Tina Fey show, and, they love Tina Fey. Tina Fey had been with the network for a while. NBC stuck with it. And they allowed it to get some legs under it and to build a fan base, which ended up making the show like a big hit. But it didn't happen in the first season. Mm-hmm. Granted, I'm going to say for the record, this episode was low-key weak. But overall, it is still a good show. Especially the way they constantly change it and keep you on your toes with the shifts, with the timelines. I really would just, if anybody from CW is watching, I would implore you to just allow this thing to get legs under itself, because it is a really good show, and there's so many different directions that you can take this beyond the first season. And there's definitely, clearly, just from at least me being on Twitter, there's a fan base. Mm-hmm. So,
just from you.
Just from what I've seen on my TL.
Oh, just from what you've seen.
Right, just from what I've seen, there is a pretty loyal, devout fan base for Frequency, and it's a shame if this show doesn't, get to continue, and it sucks because there's a lot of good shows that they just get cut short just because they're not pulling in the ratings. But at the same time, it's like you have to think about all the different factors as to why people don't know about the show yet. Yeah. And it's just a matter of letting it get legs. Think about all the people that are watching the show right now, first season, that they're going to tell their friends, like, man, I was watching this show. It was great. Comes back in the fall. You got to check it out. Mm-hmm. But, Give it a chance. That's
Maybe
my.
you just convince the network.
Hey man, I'm hoping so. So that's all.
There's always the reality of the dollars as well, and the advertisers, and are they going to be able to make it work?
Right.
So
that's all I had to say about that.
No, I think that was a valiant effort.
Hey man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You get a petty pass.
Incorrect use.
Oh shit.
It's okay though. You're trying. A for effort.
Use.
It's all right. We're gonna work. We're gonna work
like a robot.
We'll get
We're
you.
gonna work
Incorrect
with
use.
Incorrect use.
All right. So I think we covered every angle that we could for the episode, and we even tossed in some predictions.
We got real geometric in here.
Geometric, yes, we did.
Right.
Do you guys have any like final predictions or thoughts? Like what would be your ultimate ending if it could end in your like perfect worlds or like
I want to see Stan
worlds?
Moreno go down still.
I need Stan Moreno. I need Stan Moreno to get it.
Yeah.
I need him to feel the wrath of either Frank or Satch or Raimi or somebody needs to do something with Stan Moreno. For me, did I cut you off?
No.
Were you done?
I was done.
Okay.
Yeah.
By all means,
been
I
done for
don't
a
want to be
while.
rude.
Yeah.
I appreciate my co-hosts. I have some of the best co-hosts right now. I appreciate y'all.
all
so,
you.
I don't mean to cut you off.
No.
Especially Swagalicious over here.
Yeah.
That's right.
Hey man, Swag's on 100,000 trillion right now, son. That's not even the number, but it is today. So moving along, I feel like Stan Moreno needs to get dealt with. But I also want it to be revealed, how deep his web goes, what all he's got going on, what he's got his fingers in, and who the players are that work for him. I need that reveal. But I also want to know about the Nightingale Killer. I kind of low-key, I want the Nightingale Killer to be more than one person. I think it'd be a nice little twist. This whole season we've been thinking it's one person. So how nice of a twist would it be if there was like a tag team? So, one guy dies because he's old, and and 20 years later, the slightly younger guy continues, on with the tradition, which is why, the Nightingale Killer is still doing his thing 20 years later. I guess I'm going to go ahead and let it go. The only way I probably would ever be Team Jules is if her and Frank got back together. Seems like that's not going to happen. So I do, even though I thought the mush fest that they had today was kind of whack, I do appreciate the fact that they're going to start trying to be civil and keep Raimi out of their drama. And I definitely want to see more of that. I want to see more resolution with them. So that Raimi's not affected, because Raimi was low key sassing her mom. And I get it.
Little girl did a good job.
Granted, there's never any justification to disrespect moms, even if your mom is low key, a thought. But
wait, did you get thought?
I did not.
Okay.
Totally that went way over my head.
So
we'll teach you something.
But obviously she was sassy because she wants, her mom and her dad to be together, which is, to jump back to the beginning, you saw her talking to her dad, kind of trying to coach him, to help him get back in good graces with her mom, because she ultimately wants them together. Any kid in a parent, in a two-parent situation, always wants their parents to be together. So we know that's not going to happen. I would at least like to see, more of the whole resolution of them being a happy family, being civil with each other. And yeah, I mean, that's it. I know that was a super long ass prediction, but there you go.
Yeah.
What's yours?
Here's my prediction. The mom and dad are going to get back together, but dad's still going to die. And because you can't change, things come to fruition anyway, right? So the dad's still going to die. It's still going to be Stan Moreno's fault. And Raimi's going to bust San Moreno in the future based on information she gets from the dad. So the dad's going to pass her information. She's going to bust Stan Moreno. She takes Stan Moreno down. And she also busts the Nightingale Killer in the future. So dad served the purpose of being able to
now
help her
that's a prediction I can get behind, Chris.
What?
The other stuff you were reaching. I was like, what is he?
Shit, I'm just thinking
what
2
is he
episodes.
doing?
2 episodes. What are we going to do?
But see,
I
now
bet you.
that one, Writers, I hope y'all taking notes right now because he just gave you a plot line if you didn't already have one.
I think they've already filmed it.
It's possible, but maybe not. I don't know. I would like to see Frank and Julie get back together. I really would. I want them to be all a happy family, but to be honest, I really don't know who the Nightingale Killer could be. This guy that is involved with the camp and the church. It looks like they're setting him up to be the Nightingale Killer, but it could go either way. It could be one way, like, damn, we need to wrap this up. Let's just toss this in there and he's the killer. But typically, with my experience from television shows, if it's really served on a platter for you, like, it's too good to be true. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I'll be happy if I just need to know who the killer is or killers are.
There you go.
And I want Frank and Raimi to work together from the past and the present to find this killer.
Yeah, definitely.
But you know what's super weird? Like, we haven't had a shift in a while. We haven't had, like, a future that affects the past shift or past shift that affects the future shift.
I thought we did, though. I thought we did, though.
Well, what were months today?
Remember when right after the coach had picked up Raimi
the kiss
for Julie and then kissed the mom, you see her you see her sitting in.
Oh, so that was like that was one thing.
She didn't really do
that. But how much did that really affect?
Not that
Nothing.
much. Not
well,
that
I mean,
much.
but it could set a whole other trajectory for the breakup of her parents. You know, where they don't mend anything. So it could potentially be something big.
Well, if nothing else, it provoked Frank to to pull up and kind of low key give Jules the riot act. So there's that. But yeah, I don't really think that was a far deep reaching shift at all.
And I wonder if Raimi is able to save her parents in the past. I wonder how they're going to become present in the future. Like, is she just going to walk in the kitchen and her mom's going to be there? It's so...
She was there in the beginning of the series.
Yeah. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how they make that happen. I don't know. Any final thoughts, you guys, on this episode?
For the record, to the actress that plays Jules, you do a really good job. To the point where it makes me very passionate and it makes me dislike your character very strongly, but you're doing an awesome job. I'm sure you're an amazing person. So I just want to get that out there because I know I always bag on Jules. I'm only bagging on your character, not you as a human, because I'm pretty sure you're a pretty awesome human. So
thank you.
I'm trying to tie up all my loose ends.
Yeah,
just in case.
Yeah, just get them all
just in
here
case you only have one episode left.
Just in case. I don't want to go on the street and get slapped like, oh my goodness.
Well, this
it was
is
just
LA.
a show.
She could be behind you at Trader Joe's
Exactly.
or
That's
something.
what I'm saying. So
I'm
tying up my loose ends.
Fucked,
Trust, I have seen many a celebrity. So I'm glad that, now on this forum, I'm not, talking too much trash because I don't want to get punched or slapped in the face.
Good. Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
I hope Jules does not find you.
Yeah, no, not at all.
All right, guys. Thank you for tuning in. Please comment. We love the comments. I want to hear your predictions. I want to hear your ultimate endings because you heard ours, and then we can talk about them on the next and possibly final episode.
I'm Chris Howard. You can find me at Chris Howard Live on Twitter and Instagram.
Thanks,
Way
Chris
to take
Howard.
control, buddy. And I'm Chaos J, KAAOSJ. You can also find me, and that's on Twitter. And you can also find me on Instagram, Chaos_Oceans31, 31 flavors of waviness. Come get some.
Yep, and I'm Olivia, the real OG, the real _O_G. Hit me up. We'll see you guys next week.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later!
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.